What if one of humanity's oldest hunting tools wasn't a spear or a bow, but a melody? Imagine walking into a quiet forest thousands of years ago. There are no guns, no traps, and no modern equipment. A hunter raises a simple flute made from bone. A sweet tune drifts through the trees, and moments later, birds begin gathering nearby. Could this really have happened? Was music once used as a hunting weapon? Were birds truly attracted by certain sounds? Or is this nothing more than an ancient myth that has survived through generations? Today we're uncovering one of history's most fascinating mysteries, a story that blends archaeology, biology, music, and human survival. Along the way, we'll discover how ancient people hunted birds, which species they targeted, what seasons they chose, how they prepared the meat, and whether modern hunters still use sound and music to lure birds today. And by the end of this video, you'll face one question that may completely change how you think about the relationship between music and nature. For most of human history, survival depended on creativity. Ancient humans had limited technology. Every meal required patience, observation, and clever strategies. They carefully studied animal behavior, noticing patterns that could increase their chances of success. Birds were among the most challenging prey. They could fly away within seconds. Birds rarely allowed hunters to approach closely. This forced early humans to think differently. Could sound become a tool? Many archaeologists believe some of the earliest musical instruments were created tens of thousands of years ago. Bone flutes discovered in prehistoric caves suggest that humans were making music long before written language existed. But an intriguing possibility remains. Were all these instruments created purely for entertainment? Or did some serve practical purposes including hunting? Many researchers believe it's possible that certain whistles and flutes imitated bird calls rather than creating music in the modern sense. If a hunter could perfectly imitate a bird's call, curious birds might fly closer, believing another member of their species was nearby. That moment of curiosity could become the hunter's opportunity. This idea may sound surprising, but nature itself provides many examples of animals responding to sounds. Birds communicate constantly. They use songs to claim territory. They use distinctive sound to warn of danger. They sing to attract mates. They even recognize the voices of family members. If birds naturally respond to sound, could humans have learned to exploit that behavior? Did birds actually like music? This question has fascinated scientists for decades. The answer is more complicated than many people expect. Birds don't experience music exactly the way humans do. They aren't listening to melodies because they enjoy concerts. Instead, birds respond to patterns of sound. Others resemble warning signals. Certain rhythms may calm them, others may frighten them. Scientific studies have shown that some birds become curious when hearing unfamiliar but gentle sounds, while others completely ignore them. Species matter enormously. A duck reacts differently from a dove. A quail behaves differently from a crow. A songbird responds differently from an owl. This explains why successful bird callers spend years learning the exact sounds each species recognizes. Even today, experienced hunters often imitate bird calls instead of producing ordinary music. In many ways, the music wasn't intended for human ears. It was designed specifically for birds. Ancient humans usually hunted birds that provided the greatest nutritional value while requiring the least amount of energy to capture. Depending on the region, hunters pursued ducks, quail, partridges, pigeons, grouse, wild turkeys, cranes, in some. Waterfowl living near lakes and rivers, these birds supplied valuable protein, fat, feathers, and bones. Feathers became clothing and bedding. Bones became needles and tools. Nothing was wasted. For prehistoric families, even a single successful hunt could mean survival during difficult seasons. Hunters used to wait for the season to hunt birds. Timing was everything. Ancient hunters closely observed migration patterns. During autumn, millions of birds traveled enormous distances. Many became tired after long flights. Hunters understood these predictable routes. Wetlands, riverbanks, lakes, and marshes became ideal hunting grounds. Spring migration also attracted hunters, although many cultures avoided excessive hunting during nesting seasons to preserve future bird populations. Winter presented different opportunities. Food became scarce, birds often gathered in predictable feeding locations. Hunters patiently waited near these areas, using silence and carefully imitated bird calls. Success depended less on strength. Music alone rarely captured birds. Instead, it worked alongside other techniques. Hunters often combined bird call whistles, camouflaged nets, hidden traps, sticky branches, decoys concealed, blind spears, slings, bows, and arrows. The sound encouraged birds to approach. The trap completed the hunt. Some indigenous cultures around the world still preserve similar traditions today. Rather than loud music, they use highly accurate reproductions of bird calls. Experience matters more than equipment. Although emergency situations may have forced people to eat raw meat occasionally, cooking became the normal practice wherever fire was available. Popular movies often show prehistoric humans eating raw meat. Reality was likely very different. Evidence from archaeological sites strongly suggests that humans mastered fire hundreds of thousands of years ago. Cooking offered enormous advantages. It killed parasites, it softened meat, it improved digestion, it increased available calories. Bird meat was commonly roasted over open fires. Sometimes it was boiled in later civilizations. Could ancient music have been more powerful than we realize? Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't whether humans used music, it's how deeply they understood nature. Ancient hunters lived alongside wildlife every single day. They listened carefully, they observed patiently, they learned which sounds frightened animals, and which sounds inspired curiosity. What appears to us as music may actually have been an advanced form of animal communication. Thousands of years before modern biology existed, people may already have understood the language of birds. That possibility is both fascinating. Today, modern science confirms that birds communicate through incredibly complex vocal systems. Humans have successfully imitated many of these calls for centuries. Whether those ancient sounds should truly be called music remains open to debate. But one thing is certain. The relationship between humans, birds, and sound stretches back much further than most people realize. Perhaps every melody played in a forest once carried more meaning than entertainment alone. Perhaps it was a survival tool. Perhaps it was communication. Or perhaps it was both. Does bird hunting with sound still exist today? Surprisingly, yes, but not exactly in the way many imagine. Modern hunters often use bird call whistles, electronic callers, recorded sounds, mechanical decoys, motion decoys instead of playing beautiful melodies. These devices imitate natural bird vocalizations. Waterfowl hunters frequently imitate duck calls. Turkey hunters imitate turkey hens. Goose hunters imitate goose flocks. The goal remains unchanged: convince birds that everything nearby is safe. However, laws vary greatly from country to country. In many places, the use of electronic collars is restricted or prohibited for certain bird species to protect wildlife and ensure ethical hunting. Always check local regulations before hunting. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating mysteries from history and the natural world.